Hello, Melissa A. Wiringi here, and tonight is lesson 7 in A Course in Miracles. So tonight is I See Only the Past, and I guess for this one, it really combines all of what we've done over the last probably about 4 days, maybe even the whole week really, because I guess point number 2 on this, it says old ideas about time are very difficult to change because everything you believe is rooted in time and depends on your not learning these new ideas about it. So a lot of the time we get resistance when we're learning all of these unlearning things because your ego, everything that you know, wants to hold on to the things that you know. And sometimes this is the most funniest thing when you go through A Course in Miracles, because some of the ideas that you get are really interesting. You start talking to people because when it starts clicking in your head, you want to share it, right? But the resistance that comes up when you talk to people, it's amusing because you can see how tightly they hold on to what they know. And it's true, you know, we hold on to what we know. So yet this is precisely why we need to change. We need new ideas about time. And this is the first time idea is not really so strange as it may sound at first. So it's all about just really going back, stripping down what we think we know and letting all of that go, because if you hold on too much to what we've been taught all of this time, then you don't really make room for new learning, right? And I guess do you know what, this example in here is looking at a cup, and I don't even need to do that now because I look at my children and I look at their progress. Now we're unschooling, and so it's so drastically different from everything. I grew up going through the school system. I valued education. I believed in university degrees. I thought that was so helpful and good and such a good stepping stone to an amazing future. And I believed in that really strongly growing up. You know, I didn't really finish high school. I dropped out of high school when I was 16, and I went off to what we have in New Zealand as a polytech, and then I did a 1.5 years there and went off to university because I thought, you know, have a degree, and my dream was to be a business analyst and all these sorts of things. And then I had kids, and things kind of changed quite quickly, right? So when I look at my kids, what I saw was that you know, society, we grow up thinking they're not going to learn if they don't go to school, and that is totally wrong. And I've blown that out of the window. Like I remember when I was first on my own with my kids, and Noah went to a Montessori school, so I started like looking at all these alternative education methods, and I really liked the Rudolf Steiner method. And part of that as a mother is because we as mothers sometimes don't trust ourselves as educators to our children. And that's an amazing thing because we are their educators. And the incredible thing is, you know, this generation of mothers, we're probably the most educated mothers on the face of the planet for all of history. You know, like, you know, 100 years ago, the most important people in the world couldn't be as educated as what we are now, just simply with the internet. We don't even need a degree to be very, very highly educated these days. And the power that we give to the schooling system and to teachers, I mean, not to discredit teachers, because teachers do amazing jobs, but it's the fact that as parents, we don't even believe in ourselves. So we look at that, and that's conditioning, because that comes from the past. When you bring your kids home and make this crazy decision to, 1, homeschool, and then 2, just go all out and unschool, then all of a sudden it's scary. Like, you're like, oh my God, am I going to be stuffing up my kids for the rest of their lives? Am I destroying their future? And that's all of our conditioning. That's all our ego just clinging on to this idea that, you know, you're not good enough as a teacher, Mum. But no, I am. I really, really am. And I'm seeing that now firsthand because I've actually like gone hands right off. My older kids teach my younger child. So he was like really fluent, talking really quick. He could count really quick. Still not the fastest necessarily, but I can ride a bike and swim far before most kids ever think about it. You know, he's 3 and he can ride his pedal bike without any training wheels and things like that. So, and that's credit to my older kids, right? And so then there's this realization that they're just learning the whole time. And so we've been like joked in a way that the schooling system is how your kids are going to learn, and that's the only way that they can learn maths or English. And sometimes that's not necessarily fully what we believe, but we don't think that we have the tools or the ability to teach our kids stuff like maths or English or how to read or whatever. But it's not right. We actually, as parents, we do. And so I guess when we recognize that we see only the past, when we're clinging on to our old beliefs, it's really hard to let go. And so another example of that is, you know, I didn't really initially, when I looked at all the education models out there, you know, I loved Rudolf Steiner because it let the kids learn themselves. Yet it was still an education model where we don't trust ourselves enough as parents, so we have to lob them off to someone else to teach, right? And that comes, you know, it was really interesting because when we decided to start this journey of homeschool, sort of unintentionally, because I was following a family that did unschool and homeschool and stuff like that, and I thought, wow, that's amazing, but I just don't, you know, I don't feel equipped. Where would I get my information? Where would I get my curriculum? How would I know what to teach them? How would I know if they're up to date, right? And it was so scary. It really, really was. And we did distance ed for that reason. We chose distance ed because I thought, well, then at least they just send us all the stuff and it's just my job to guide them. But that was so hectic, stressful, and it was horrible. That only lasted a few months. So we didn't really last with home distance ed because they send you so much content. They expect you to spend so many hours in your designated classroom thing, and it wasn't right. And so when we let that go and went full on into homeschool, you know, we realized, you know, in an hour and a bit a day we could get done more than the average kid would get done in the classroom in a full day. And then I thought, hold on, where does homework come into this? You know, like I told my daughter's teachers that, you know, she wouldn't be doing homework because if she needs to do homework, might as well keep her at home, right? So it's learning that, you know, like we're taught a certain way, we grow up a certain way. If we grow up in classrooms, and if our parents grow up in classrooms, and if we believe in classrooms and we believe that teachers are the only way that our kids can learn, then we are greatly fooled. And so a big chunk of this course, although it's not specific to education, and I'm just sort of taking what I've learned as a mum and applying it from a parenting and unschooling and traveling perspective, you know, we just underestimate totally what we're capable of. We really, really don't give ourselves full credit for what we can do. So when we're saying, I see only the past, we can do it. Like, I see only the past in this pencil. I see only the past in this shoe. And it literally wants you to pick up things and look at it and realize that the only reason that you see what you see and what you know is from your learning, right? Because you know a glass is a glass because you've probably dropped one or two over the course of your life, and you know that if you drop it, it's going to break, right? That's learning. So everything that you see, it's basically just everything's an imprint from the past, and it's absolutely amazing when you start to try and pull that to pieces and say, like, everything that I know is not, it's not necessarily that it's wrong, because there's no right or wrong necessarily. It's just that you want to try and not feel like you want to get back to your natural space. You want to get back to pre-learning so that when you start learning again, you're learning the truth rather than learning variations of the truth. So this first part of A Course in Miracles is really important. We strip it all back down and we go try and get down to everything has nothing but the meaning that we give it. So it's been a cool first week, 51 more to go, but I hope you're enjoying this. And yeah, if you've got questions, please ask, and I'll just keep sharing. Hopefully this is going to hit the right people, and I'm enjoying sharing it and kind of nervous but excited at the same time. Take care, have a beautiful evening, and we will talk again tomorrow. Good night.